In a small coastal village where the waves gently whispered day and night and white sails quietly drifted with the tide, lived a man named Mr. John. He was a diligent fisherman, daily setting out to sea with other villagers to catch fish for their livelihood, selling the surplus at the village market. Though busy with work, his life was very lonely. Without a wife or children, Mr. John lived alone in an old wooden house facing the vast ocean. Every afternoon, when other fishermen returned home with laughter and loved ones waiting for them, Mr. John silently gathered his nets, brought the fish inside, and sat alone by the hearth. The house was warm but empty, lacking the voices and warmth of family. Although some villagers occasionally stopped by, their visits remained merely polite. Deep in his heart, Mr. John felt an unfillable void. Sometimes he gazed out to the distant sea, silently wishing for a miracle, something to change his monotonous, lonely life. Little did he know that an unexpected encounter was about to alter his destiny forever. One morning, carrying a basket of fresh fish, Mr. John left his familiar coastal village to sell fish in the neighboring village as usual. The forest path leading there was familiar, but that day felt different. Sunlight filtered through the trees, the trail was covered in dry leaves, and birds sang in the peaceful air. As he strolled leisurely, he suddenly stopped at a strange sight by the roadside, a thin man with a gaunt face, curled up beside a bush. Next to him was a young tiger, golden fur, big round eyes reflecting wildness mixed with confusion. The scene sparked Mr. John's curiosity. He approached gently and asked, "Why are you sitting here with a tiger cub?" The man looked up, voice choked. "I have no money left. My family hasn't eaten for 2 days. I found this tiger cub when it was lost from its mother, but now I can no longer care for it. If you take this basket of fish, you can take the cub." Mr. John stood silently. A wave of emotion rose inside him. Pity for the man, and strangely, a glimmer of hope when looking into the cub's eyes. Heavy-hearted, Mr. John gazed at the desperate man's eyes and the innocent cub's gaze. He knew this wasn't a simple decision. Part of him warned that a tiger was a wild animal, yes, not easily tamed. But another part, his tender heart, whispered that perhaps this small creature's arrival was the miracle he had quietly wished for. Unable to turn his back on the hungry man or abandon the tiny tiger in the deep forest, Mr. John nodded. He handed over his basket of fish, gently lifted the cub into his arms. Despite doubts, he felt a strange bond between him and the animal, as if fate had destined their meeting. On the way home, Mr. John thought about the days ahead. A small light flickered in his heart, a hope that this tiger cub could fill the emptiness inside him. No longer silent evenings by the fire, now he would have a companion, even if just a wild creature, to soothe his long-held loneliness. When Mr. John returned to the village carrying the cub, the whole village buzzed with surprise. From the elders sitting on the porch to children playing by the shore, everyone was astonished and somewhat worried. A tiger, even a cub, is a wild beast with strong and unpredictable survival instincts. "What do you plan to do with it?" a neighbor asked, eyes mixed with doubt and fear. "It will be dangerous when it grows." "Do you think you can raise a tiger?" another chimed in. "What if it goes mad? It will harm you." Warnings crashed down on Mr. John like waves, but he only smiled calmly, his eyes gentle on the cub curled in his arms. "I believe I can teach it. I will build a strong cage, care for it, and train it carefully," he said determinedly. Despite many shaking their heads, Mr. John began. He built a sturdy cage by his house, reserved part of the fish for the cub. Ignoring objections, he trusted that love and patience would make things right. Day by day, Mr. John devoted himself to caring for the cub. Every morning, he rose early to prepare food, speaking softly to it like a close friend. He named it Leo, a simple name carrying special affection. Leo grew accustomed to his presence, clinging to him like a big cat, though wild blood still ran through its veins. As Leo grew, Mr. John began walking it around the village. They strolled slowly along red dirt roads, past familiar thatched houses. Villagers watched with mixed feelings. Some admired his courage and uniqueness, others stepped back, eyes filled with fear. Still, Mr. John understood their apprehension and always kept a safe distance when walking Leo outside. Among all those gazes, Mr. John felt peaceful. To him, Leo was not just an animal. He was a friend, a joy, a companion during lonely years. The bond between man and tiger, though strange, was sincere and deep, as if two lost souls had found each other in this vast world. Time passed quietly like waves on the shore. From a timid, weak cub, Leo grew into a majestic tiger with sleek fur and sharp, powerful eyes. Each step was strong and steady, radiating wild beauty unmatched by most creatures. Mr. John looked at Leo with silent pride. He recalled the early days when he brought him home, small, trembling, and wary. Over time, he not only fed Leo, but talked to him, stroked him, taught him obedience and closeness to humans. To Mr. John, Leo was not just a tiger. He was the result of love, patience, and many lonely days filled by silent bonding. Though villagers still harbored doubts, many began to change their views. They saw Mr. John walking Leo safely, noticed the tiger was not fierce but strangely gentle around him. Mr. John never stopped being proud of Leo. In his heart, Leo was living proof of faith, that with enough love and patience, humans can connect even with the seemingly untouchable. One summer morning, under a clear sky and calm sea, Mr. John prepared his usual trip to the neighboring village to sell fish. As always, he locked Leo's cage carefully, gently patted the tiger's head as it dozed, then left carrying a basket full of fresh fish. The winding mountain and forest path was familiar after many years, a place full of memories. Yet fate had a different plan. On his way back, after selling fish and resting with a cup of coffee, dark clouds suddenly gathered. A heavy, fierce rainstorm poured down. When he returned to the mountain road, he was stunned to find a massive landslide blocking the path. Rocks, fallen trees, and mud completely sealed the way forward. Though he and some villagers tried to clear the blockage, human strength was no match for nature's fury. Helpless, Mr. John had to stay in the neighboring village, anxiously worrying about Leo locked alone at home. 5 days passed with heavy waiting, each moment dragging like a lifetime. In his heart, unease quietly grew. Finally, after a long 5 days, the road was cleared. Mr. John hurried home, heart pounding with worry. Crossing slippery curves and steep slopes, he longed only to see Leo, his cherished friend. The door opened to a chilling silence. Approaching the cage, his heart tightened at the sight. Leo lay curled in a corner, fur-matted, eyes tired and starving. 5 days without food had left the once mighty tiger a shadow of itself. John trembled as he unlocked the cage and called softly, "Leo, I'm home." But he didn't know, in his absence, hunger had silently awakened the tiger's primal instincts. As he stepped closer, Leo's eyes flashed, not with recognition of a friend, but wild, survival-driven glare. In a brief instant, tragedy struck. The tiger lunged, and Mr. John, the man who had loved, cared, and trusted, fell beneath the claws of the very creature he once considered a soulmate. His death left sorrow not only for the coastal village, but also carved a painful lesson about nature's essence, something humans sometimes mistakenly believe can be changed by love or compassion. Mr. John lived with a kind heart, nurturing a wild creature with love, believing that with enough care, the tiger would remain forever gentle as a friend. But tragedy revealed a bitter truth. Instincts cannot be erased completely. Leo, though living beside him as a tamed animal, still carried the blood of the deep forest. And when circumstances changed, when extreme hunger overwhelmed reason, that nature surged fiercely once more. This story reminds us that although people can hide their true nature behind sweet facades, in harsh moments their real selves emerge. Don't let sympathy cloud judgment, nor think love alone can transform a wild nature permanently. Knowing limits, keeping safe distances when necessary, and accepting the true nature of things. These are what matter most in life. The tale of Mr. John and the tiger is more than a personal tragedy. It is a profound reminder of how humans should face nature and life. Sometimes in moments filled with empathy and compassion, we act hastily and forget the basic laws that have existed for ages. Mr. John, with a kind heart and deep loneliness, chose to believe in taming a wild beast, trusting love and patience could overcome primal instincts. Yet nature and survival laws cannot be changed by feelings alone. Wild nature, though temporarily restrained, always remains inside. The final message the story conveys is, acting solely on emotion while ignoring natural limits and laws can lead to serious consequences, even irreversible losses. Sometimes wisdom lies not in rushing to help or change everything, but in keeping a safe distance, accepting truths, and respecting the nature of things. In life, learning to understand and honor those limits helps us avoid unnecessary pain and live more harmoniously with the world around us. You are watching the video on YouTube Tales Unfold.